Hey everyone, this is the Hydra Hut, and this is a manga review for Death Trance by Kana Takeuchi. Anytime I'm doing a foreign name, you can pretty much guarantee I'm going to butcher the hell out of it. Also, I'm wearing sleep pants instead of brown pants. That's pretty exciting. So the the manga reviews are a little bit harder because it's kind of difficult to flip through these smaller books with one hand. But I'm just going to try and give a quick explanation of what this is about and whether or not I recommend it. So this is about samurai, obviously. This guy on the cover is named Grave. The other main male protagonist is named Zen. And then there's Miss Yushikari. She's the chieftain of this village that these guys live in. They live in a village that's on the other side of this forest. And this forest is known for basically anytime somebody goes in there alone, they disappear because of these creatures that are supposedly living in there. The village acts like they don't believe about it, but they have no interest in going in there. The book starts off with a bandit horde attacking the town. And the art style is all done in this kind of blue scale, I guess, bluish purple. But it's great, and the fight scenes are fantastic. Here's a shot of Grave just destroying these bandits. And then there's Zen. He's also tearing some stuff up. As the story beats along, though, we meet this traveling monk, and he's extremely powerful, or he comes across as extremely powerful. And he actually prevents Grave and Zen from fighting by knocking Grave unconscious. And Grave's got a serious attitude. We don't really know why at first. But it turns out he actually has some sort of like demon within him. He's some type of inhuman. They haven't really explained what an inhuman yet is. It's just been all illusion through this whole first volume. But basically, after fighting this monk, it awakens. And when he draws this sword, he gets all these veins going across him, and he basically loses it, and just turns into a killing machine. And we find out when he first showed up, he was this little kid who was like 7, but was carrying a full-size samurai sword. They drug him out of the forest, and this is the forest where people are known for going missing. So after cleaning him up and everything, then little kid Grave ended up attacking Zen's father. But fortunately, Zen's father was a sword master, so he was able to stop this kid. But the whole time, the kid was laughing. Well, they ended up basically burying that portion of the kid deep inside and turning Grave into basically a normal person, and then this monk awakens it. Grave suddenly becomes obsessed with battle. And while that's happening, the main plot of this story is kicking along, where we find out that this monk is hunting these creatures that supposedly live in this forest because they're protecting the area where this goddess of death is going to be reborn. And his monastery is in charge of making sure that this goddess is never reborn and she's held under control. So the story is, the dialogue is kind of, so it kicks along well, and it's really easy to read, and it's a really short book anyway. But I don't know if it's the translation is kind of weird, or if some of the way they talk is just very, very not fitting for the time that this is supposed to be happening in. But it does kick along well, and it does keep everything well explained. And the art is great, especially when they get into fights. The fight scenes can be a little bit difficult to follow, just because of how many speed lines they use sometimes, but it's pretty well done, and it's real clean. I'm impressed by the art, at least. So, some kind of weird stuff happens as the story evolves through Volume 1. We find out that Zen is in love with Kariushi. We find out that Kariushi is in love with Grave. So Zen basically confronts Kariushi and is like, well, Kariushi wants Grave to leave so that he can follow what he really wants to follow, which is battle. Zin knows that she's in love with him, so he comes up to her and is like, you know what? Why don't you leave with Grave? I'll take over leadership of the village. You didn't ask for this position. It was thrust upon you. And she's super excited and happy and everything. And then for whatever reason, she goes and she gets her sword and she challenges Grave to a duel. And they have this bloody, gnarly fucking stab him out duel where she actually beats Grave, but is just covered in blood from it. And while Grave is just sitting out there bleeding and she's back at the village being healed, his quote-unquote father, the guy who raised him and found him in the woods, shows up and basically tells him that the reason he lost is because his sword has no weight. He has no purpose. He's just there to fight, whereas she has the weight of the village behind her blade, so it's heavier, it's more effective, and that's why she won. Zin has the weight of the village behind his blade, and that's why he wins. Grave is fighting for nothing, no purpose, so why would he be better than anybody? And then he ends up beating Grave in a fight as well. And it's this really humbling scene for, I guess, the monster inside of Grave. But it also comes across as Yushikari realizing that, or Kariushi realizing that she doesn't actually need Grave or Zin to protect the village. She's strong enough on her own. So we're safe to assume that she's going to stay the village leader. And it's probably going to be Zin and Grave who go off with the monk. But I do recommend this book. It's good. The art's good. The story's okay. I got this in a mystery box. But, yeah, I would recommend it. It's decent manga. Alright. Hell Hydra, baby.